Andrew Tate, the whole thing was so stupid. Like, just the entire thing was like how everybody responded to it. So look, the guy, the fact that we all pretty much know who he is because he's a clever guy. Okay. He gamed TikTok. He literally gamed the TikTok algorithm to make himself the most searched man in the world like 6 months ago, right? So he has an idea of how to get people talking about him, right? Like we can all come to that conclusion that he kind of knows how to do that, how to just get the conversation to be about Andrew Tate. So he tweets this out of nowhere. This was the day of last week's episode, December 27th. He says, "Hello, Greta Thunberg." That's how us fancy folk pronounce it. He goes, "I have 33 cars. My Bugatti was a W16 8-liter quad turbo. Sounds fast. My 2 Ferrari 812 Competizione have 6.5-liter V12s. This is just the start, Greta. Please provide your email address so I can send a complete list of my car collection and their respective enormous emissions." Okay? Total D-bag thing to tweet. You're just like, okay. Like, honestly, anybody else who would tweet that would just go ignored. But it's the top G, Andrew Tate. People like him. And so it kind of blows up. And then it blows up even more. So that tweet, just for some context here, okay, for some perspective, Twitter says that they have 450 million users on Twitter. Now, those are a lot of bots. They say that they have, I believe it's 280 million, what they call monetizable daily active users or monthly active users. Essentially, like, these are like real people. And it's like the real people who are on the thing on Twitter. It's about 280 million, okay? This tweet from Andrew Tate got 183 million impressions because they show impressions now on Twitter. So assuming that bots didn't see this, maybe they did. Even let's say that that these are bot views, that's more than a third of every account on Twitter saw this tweet, okay? And then Greta, old Dunkarino over here with the behind the back through the legs Vince Carter dunk on Cobra Tate, says, "Yes, please do enlighten me. Email me at smalldickenergy@getalife.com." Now, I wasn't going to retweet Cobra Tate. I was not going to retweet Greta. I just was going to sit back and watch like a real top G would. I guess they wouldn't, though, because they would get in the mix. That's what a real top G would do. But this is very much like everybody's like, this is the great. And her thing got 290 million impressions. So even with the bots, that's 2/3 of every Twitter account that exists in the world saw Greta's tweet. So if anything, she owes him, because you got to figure a bunch of people did some serious recycling after that, right? A lot of recycling started because of this. But first off, if you've seen Happy Gilmore, that's a real "you eat pieces of shit for breakfast" kind of move. If you know the line, Shooter McGavin says, "I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast." And Happy Gilmore says, "You eat pieces of shit for breakfast." And he says, "No." I somehow made that as unfunny as possible because it's a great scene, right? But that's what she said. She goes, "Email me smalldickenergy@getalife." So you're like, so your website's getalife.com and your email is smalldickenergy. It was idiotic on both sides. That's why I'm not getting involved. It was like both of them were fucking, this whole thing was idiotic, other than the fact that, you know, they got everybody to talk about them. But the crazy thing is then the next day, as most of us now know, the top G gets fucking arrested because he made a little reply video where he's like smoking a cigar, and then he goes, "Oh, bring me my pizza. Make sure the boxes are not recycled," or whatever the fuck. And then it's called like Jerry's Pizza, and then everybody's like, oh, because this was going around. This is total bullshit. But they're like, oh, the Romanian authorities were looking to arrest him, to arrest Andrew Tate. I'm not going to call him Cobra. He's a grown man, and I'm a grown man. But they're going to arrest Cobra Tate or whatever, and then they're like, oh, we didn't know he was in the country. That's everybody goes, oh, he ratted on himself by saying he showed the pizza box, and they go, oh, he's in Romania. We can arrest him. And this tweet got like 100 million impressions or something like that. And you're like, are you an idiot? That is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard in my life. You think the Romanian government didn't know he was in the country and only figured it out because of a pizza box? You don't think there's any other ways they could figure out, like, I don't know, surveil him? Maybe just put a car outside of his house? How much does a Romanian police officer make a year? 10 grand? 20 tops, maybe? I don't know. I could be wrong, but you probably just put someone outside of his house and be like, just wait for him to come home, or, you know, credit card statements, any of that shit. The fact, and everybody's like dunking on him. It's like, oh yeah. And then now he's in jail for human trafficking. Apparently he's in jail for him and his brother for 30 days. And he's all like, the Matrix is coming after me. And this is what happens when you tweet. And you're like, I personally just think it was a coincidence. I don't think those two things were related. Or the Romanian government and police are so inept that they're like, word? Andrew Tate's in Romania right now? Do they have Jerry's Pizza in other countries? Oh shit, he might be here. Let's go get him. That I find hard to believe. That I find difficult to believe. That the top G would. But anyways, we'll see how that works. I don't think, again, like the guy has no shortage of clips where he's admitting to crimes. You're like, yeah, like, look, if you want to be a rich criminal, the one thing you probably should not be is a public facing person, right? Like, that's like feels like maybe the main thing is you're like, hey, do you want to be a good criminal? Good criminals generally stay anonymous. The best criminals, you never heard of them, ever. They're not in movies or books. They're so good that you don't know who they are. That's how good they are, right? The bad criminals, they get found out. The worst criminals are the ones like Andrew Tate, who are literally, and again, he'll be like, well, I'm just doing a character and I don't mean any of this stuff. But I mean, again, you're just asking for it. Like, if I don't have a high enough profile yet, but if I'm on here talking about pimping women and stuff, even if it's digital pimping and, you know, like just all the shit he talks about, you have to imagine somebody somewhere, their ears are going to perk up and they're going to be like, yeah, you know what? Maybe something is happening here. Is this at least worth looking into? Who wouldn't want to be the prosecutor who takes down Andrew Tate, right? Even if it's in Romania. Like, I don't know how much they care there. I really don't.